staring at a box.
Well, that's an interesting way to start the show.
Oh, I didn't realize we were live. Oh
no. That is weird that it's staring at a box, though.
No. She rarely stares at boxes unless she's inside of them, and she is not in this box.
I love that. That's how we started this week's episode of the Sports Generals.
I didn't even realize we were live. It just like I was just looking over at my cat, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, we're live," and I'm like, "Ah, crap."
Well, welcome to the Sports Generals here on the UngarToTheMax YouTube channel. However, we will also be posting this on the Sports Generals YouTube channel as well, so don't worry about that. But I am UngarToTheMax. That is my co-host, Seaboss Gaming. Down there is my other co-host. I'm trying to point at you as best as I can. Mr. Mandalix, as usual, Jason Bond Young.
The claims have arrived.
Yes. I am back from St. Louis. That's why I was not on last week's show. But these two did a fantastic job holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Fascinating conversation.
Yeah, I liked the title you gave it. So I kind of played off of that for this week's title. Because I think I titled it I titled this week's episode The Trade Request That Wasn't. Of course, if you've been following the NBA offseason, you probably know what player and what team I'm talking about. A certain guy who started in Oklahoma City decided to take the easy way out by going to Golden State, win 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs, and then go, you know what? I'm going to team up with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn.
Man, the Darren Williams story is crazy.
100%. Yep.
Can't wait to hear all about it, all of this.
In some NBA news that I would like to start off with, Patrick Beverley to the Lakers? What?
They're doing what they could do.
Well, I mean, he ain't going to start unless somehow Russ gets traded, but that ain't going to happen. He signed a 1-year deal with them again, I think.
He opted into his deal, yes. But, of course, the player I was referring to was one Kevin Durant. Because, remember, I think it was at, like, the end of June, he comes out and pretty much breaks the internet when he goes, yeah, I want to be traded out of Brooklyn. And then what? Like a month later, he comes out and says, it's either the head coach and general manager or it's me. And
he made a lot of requests, man. A lot of requests that it just seemed like, man, just stop talking. You know what I mean? Because, like, everything you're saying, your demands is, it was not met, and we all know the reason why.
Yeah. And then to just further make the situation confusing, I guess, I can't really think of a better way to say it, we find out earlier this week, oh yeah, Kevin Durant, Joe Tsai, I think Steve Nash was there as well, but they all met, and they're back on good terms. Like, Kevin Durant rescinded his trade request, and he's going to stay for the full 4-year contract. What?
Wow, just like magic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
I thought you were going somewhere with that. Good try, though.
I was going to go somewhere with it, but Magic Johnson never requested a trade out of the Lakers, and the Orlando Magic can't request a trade. They're a franchise.
Although Dwight Howard requested a trade out of Orlando.
And so did Shaq, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he did. Shaq did. He did request one out.
Orlando, creating centers for the future of the Lakers.
For real. Like,
it's true.
Beautifully
it
put,
is true. Where's the lie?
They're like a farm system for the Lakers centers. Like
What's even worse is that the Lakers' most recent championship was won in Orlando with Dwight Howard on the team.
paying homage.
Poor Orlando Magic just can't catch a break.
You're right about that. But what do you guys think of this whole Kevin Durant situation? Because I'll give my take on this whole thing, and then I'll let you guys give yours. But for me, his legacy had already taken a big hit because of the whole Golden State thing after being up 3-1 against the Warriors in the conference finals the year prior. And then he says, you know what? I'm going to go join a team that won 73 games. So his legacy had already taken a big hit. But then you have all this shenanigans. I can't really think of a better word again. Where it's like, oh, I want to trade. 2 months later, you know what? No, I don't want to trade.
It's like it's weird, man. It's like, you know, it's like he ran out of options to get his way, and he only has himself to blame when he signed that extension that he signed with the Nets when he got traded there. And well, it's like, come on, I mean, he didn't get traded, but when he went to the Nets and he inked that new deal, that was pretty much the signing on the wall. You can't really it's only so much you could do. And it's only so much that a team you're requesting to be traded to will do, given the circumstance. So he kind of painted his own self in this corner that he found himself in.
As for my take on this, Kevin Durant wanted to build a super team in Brooklyn. If you're trying to build a super team around Kyrie Irving and who else did he have? Joe Harris.
Joe Harris and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of role players and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Well, then they bring in James Harden.
Yeah,
they had Harden. Oh, wait, nope, he wants out. Oh, he's going to Philly.
I mean, that whole James Harden thing is its own separate situation because.
Oh yeah.
Because think about this, you know, I know he started his career in Oklahoma City, and he was a big part of that team. He
didn't come into his own until he started playing for the Houston Rockets.
Bingo. And then eventually, what happens? He essentially quits on the Rockets and gets traded to Brooklyn. Same situation. It's not the same situation, but it ended up...
similar one.
Yes.
Right.
It ended up being a similar situation because he's like, nope, I don't want to be in Brooklyn anymore. So he quit his way out of Brooklyn, and now he's in Philadelphia.
So then how would you say this affects James Harden? Like, if James Harden is willing to quit on not one, but two teams, does the next team that wants to take a look at him, does Philly take a cautious approach in how they build their team now that, you know, if James Harden doesn't like the team he's with, he can just quit?
Yeah, you would have to. It feels like if a team is really going to steal and take millions and invest in him as being the centerpiece, then you need to fire the GM because he's demonstrated any stop he makes, he can't be depended on. And when the time gets going or when the going gets tough, he will get to going. And if you build around him, shame on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Houston, to your point, Jay, Houston ended up paying that price because they had their period of time where it looked like they were going to be the ones to dethrone the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference. And ultimately that didn't happen, but that's what happens when you miss 27 three-pointers, I believe it was, in Game 7.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what the Golden State that was the Houston Rockets game that year was, you know, they had CP3, they had James Harden, two of the best, two, I'd say top 5 3-point shooters in the league currently, or at that time.
It's hard to say with Chris Paul if he is a top 5 shooter, because that's not really his game. I would
Well,
say.
his game is assists. He's like the John Stockton of the modern NBA.
Yeah, he's more predicated on being a floor general, and he's an edgy guy. If you really focus on him, he does. A lot of players consider him to be a dirty player in the league. The rumblers among the players, but he's very crafty. He gets players open, but he definitely takes charge and he runs the team, whatever situation he's in.
And I think that's why he's been so successful with the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, and not just with Phoenix, but think
Everywhere.
about it. Exactly, Jay. Think
Even
about
New Orleans.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
think about when he was with Oklahoma City for the one season.
Mhm.
They end up they got to the playoffs,
Yep.
and they pushed the Houston Rockets, coincidentally enough, to a Game 7, I believe.
When the Hornets was in New Orleans that one time, he got them to the playoffs. He always gets the team to the playoffs. He has that effect and that impact on the other guys. It's just as far as a pure 3-point shooter, no, that's never been him, but he's gotten better over time.
Now, imagine if that trade, and I know everyone talks about this trade because it was vetoed. I believe it was 2011 or 2012 or something like that. Imagine if that trade goes through and the Lakers get Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Do the Lakers end up winning more rings with Kobe? Or does Kobe end up winning more rings with the Lakers now that he has Chris Paul instead of Steve Nash?
That's a tough one, man. I don't know, man, because it kind of worked in their favor when the trade got vetoed and they was able to get Paul Gasol. And he was a big centerpiece in a winning. And I don't know, man. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, well, the Lakers had Pau Gasol prior to trying to make that trade.
Yeah, they traded Pau's brother Mark Gasol to the Grizzlies actually for Pau.
I believe you're right about that.
It was a brother for brother trade.
Actually, the Lakers just announced, I think, that they're retiring Pau Gasol's jersey this coming season.
That
right.
makes a lot of sense, and I believe after what he did for the organization, taking them to back-to-back championships alongside Kobe, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, back-to-back
absolutely.
championships in 2009 and 2010.
Well, and don't forget about the appearance in 2008-09 or 2007-08, and then 08-09, and then 9-10.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was saying. 3 straight trips to the finals, 2
Yep.
championships.
Yep.
He was a perennial all-star. If you really dissect his career, when he was with Memphis, he was elite. He's always been an elite player.
Even later in his career, when he was with the Spurs, he was still playing at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying this was the best pickup they could get in a post-Tim Duncan team on a post-Tim Duncan Spurs team.
Yeah. And even when he was with Chicago, those Bulls teams, as a Cavaliers fan, I didn't want to see those Bulls teams in the playoffs.
No, I would not have either.
Yeah, he always had touch. Something about Paul Gasol, anything within a 20 feet radius, he was going to nail that, and there was just no question about it.
Oh, yeah.
He could also step out and hit the three-pointer, though.
Absolutely, and let's not forget that in the Olympics, he always wrecked the United States every time we played against him. So he's great.
Yeah. Oh, what team did he play for? I'm forgetting.
Brazil.
Brazil.
No,
Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
I was about to say if he was on Team France, well, no wonder because Team France had Tony Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Who did Manu Ginobili play for? Was that
Argentina?
He played for
Argentina.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Spurs always had international guys.
Oh yeah. I think like the only two people I could think of on any of their championship rosters, on like their main starting five that were from America are Kawhi and Tim Duncan.
No, Tim Duncan from Barbosa or from Jamaica.
Oh,
Yeah, Tim, he
right.
never played. Yeah, he never played Team USA. He always played for Barbosa, I believe.
Okay.
Barbados.
sounds
I
Barbados,
apologize.
yeah.
Barbados. I don't know what Barbosa's. I don't know where that country is, but
Is that where Leandro Barbosa comes from?
Right. He got his own country.
I just looked it up. Tim Duncan is from St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I think he actually did play for Team USA then, since
No, he never played for Team USA.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds about right. That definitely sounds about right.
And honestly,
yeah.
that's the only reason I found out. I'm like, whoa, I thought and I'm like, why is he not playing for us? And I'm like, oh, he's not from here. Okay, that makes sense. So
yeah. So I guess it really was only Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Yeah, because it says, I'm looking at it, it says early life Tim Duncan was born and raised in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he is the son of immigrants from Anguilla. What? From Anguilla.
We get the picture. We get the picture.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try butcher that name. So forget.
The whole point is, hey, they had international players, and all of their international players always played at a high level. But going back to Paul Gasol, he was elite, and his brother eventually became elite. So
Marc Gasol, yeah, he was a champion with the Raptors in 2019, I believe.
Correct. Do you think the Grizzlies will eventually retire Marc Gasol's jersey?
I think so.
I'd believe it. I wouldn't be surprised if they retired both Gasol brothers' numbers.
They need to, and they need to retire Debo's jersey. Yeah, they go retire quite a few when it's all said and done.
Mike Conley.
They already retired Zach Randolph's jersey.
That was the other one I was going to throw out there.
What about Rudy Gay?
Nah.
Rudy Gay was nothing more than a role player. Even on Sacramento, he's a role player.
Yeah, it's like
and it's Sacramento. Well, then again, Sacramento's nothing but role players.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always the case when Chris Webber played.
Oh, Chris Webber,
Peja,
Mike Bibby.
Let's think about it. Like
they made Mike Bibby elite.
When we was talking about the Shaq and Kobe era, you got to mention the Sacramento Kings because
Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, and everyone thinks that he probably was Mike. Those Sacramento Kings teams made Mike Bibby elite.
Mike Bibby was definitely a floor general. Elite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good, but he definitely took charge. And Sacramento Kings, they already had the pieces in place. All they do is plug him in. Let him do what he did.
Yeah, I bet you. Chris, we were kind of talking about how if Colby Covington or if Kamaru Usman wasn't in the welterweight division, Colby Covington would have been champion, or at least that's what everybody was saying. But to go back to our current conversation, maybe if Shaq and Kobe weren't with the Lakers, maybe that would have been the era of the Sacramento Kings with those teams.
That's possible, man, because the Lakers was the only team stopping them.
The Lakers was the only team getting their way, and now they're on a 16-plus year playoff drought?
Something like that. I couldn't tell you the last time Sacramento was in the playoffs.
I don't think I was watching basketball at the time.
They definitely do for one, though. Like they were. I mean, really, like they really. I know a lot of our younger viewers may not like. They think the Kings. Who cares about the Kings? But the Kings really was like always in the talks of potentially winning the championship. Was just the Lakers was a simple roadblock that they just could not get over.
And it was the same thing with the Pistons in the early 2000s. Everyone nowadays writes off the Pistons as a joke, but those early 2000s Pistons were a threat.
Absolutely.
Imagine if they had drafted D. Wade, Chris Bosh, or Carmelo instead of Darko Milicic. Would they be a dynasty?
I mean, I still think they is a dynasty. They had to be a dynasty. Let's think about it, man. They 3 finals in 5 years during that reign with Ben Wallace, Billups.
Rasheed Wallace, Billups, Rip Hamilton.
I think that's the dynasty right there, man. I mean, I think. Well, what qualifies as a dynasty? I guess that's my question.
That's just what I was going to ask you.
In my opinion, a dynasty is a team that won multiple rings in a short period of time. Say 2 rings in 4 years or 3 rings in 5 years, stuff like that, you know?
So, like what the Tampa Bay Lightning are in the midst of, or
could potentially.
Well, they've already
or
won.
The Golden State. They've already won 2, but I'm honestly starting to see that whole thing fall apart with the Lightning.
Okay, you and I can talk about that on our show.
Yeah.
But
I think 3. I think you need 3 titles. 3 titles within a 5-year frame. I think that's a dynasty.
I can agree on that. Although then that kind of counts out the Heat's 4 years of dominance.
Yeah. Well, they do. But they only won 2. So.
Right. What about what did the San Antonio Spurs do? They had.
That's a dynasty.
2007. They had 2005. And
2003, I believe. Either 4.
2003, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's definitely a dynasty for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and 2000.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was 1999.
Oh yeah, 99.
99, because 2000 and 2001 or
2000.
That was the Lakers.
2001 and 2002 were all the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that in and of itself is a dynasty right there.
Yeah.
And of course, the Bulls had 2 separate dynasties with MJ and Pippen.
That is true. So let me ask you this then. You know, by some logic, you could say like those early 2000s Pistons teams, had a big 3, right? Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, or you could say Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, whatever trio you want to put in there. And Chicago in the 90s, they had a big 3.
Right.
So why is it that everybody says, when Miami got their big 3 together, Wade, Bosh, LeBron, why is it that everybody says that was the start of the big 3 or super team era?
That wouldn't have even been true given the fact that I want to say 3 seasons earlier, Boston put together their own big 3 or super team with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen.
Correct. Which, in my opinion, that in the 2000s period, or that part of the 2000s period, I would say that was the start of the super team era. Not Miami, it was Boston.
Well, you got to understand.
I would definitely say it was Boston.
Boston, the reason why I'm thinking this is way different, the Miami Heat was the first super team because they were the first time that free agents actually all had I'm not going to say collusion, but they all conspired to play with each other. Whereas Boston, those were all done by trades and with other teams, may have been free agency and building your own homegrown talent. But the Heat, they specifically had 2 free agents that said, hey, we're going to go ahead, we're going to go to the Heat, we're going to take a pay cut. And then D Wade, who could have took the max deal, said, okay, I'll take the pay cut if y'all 2 are going to come here. And that is a super team because they created that. That
is true. And you could even say the Spurs had a big 3, but Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan were all drafted by San Antonio.
But does
That-
But let me ask you this, though. Does that discredit them, or discredit isn't the right word? Does that dismiss them from the super team discussion? Because in my opinion, it does not dismiss them from the...
In my opinion, they are what is called an organic super team. So there's 2 types of super team. 3 types. There's the one you get from free agency, like what the Heat did. There's the one you get from, masterful trading, like what Boston did. And then there's the organic one, which is, hey, you see all this super team level talent? Yeah, we drafted that. You could have drafted it, but it fell to us, so we drafted it.
So
it's kind of what the Cavs are currently doing, if you think about it.
Right. So what type of super team would you say the Milwaukee Bucks are? Because they drafted Giannis, but they didn't draft Chris Middleton. They brought him in via trade, I believe it was.
But a super team, but I know we just said a super team is what, 3 elite top tier players, right?
Yes, and
Chris Middleton
the Bucks
is good, but he's not. Well, we say Chris Middleton elite?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
The only elite player on the Bucks is Giannis.
Yeah,
Fair.
right.
I will say this though, in the season that the Bucks won the championship, and this is no disrespect to Giannis by any means, but until Giannis dropped that 50-point game in the championship clinching Game 6, looking at the series overall, I actually had Chris Middleton winning Finals MVP because I felt like he was hitting the more clutch shots and making the bigger impact. Again,
I had Drew Holiday winning that because if you look at his average compared to Giannis's average compared to Middleton's average before Game 6, Drew Holiday was leading the other 2 in average points per game, assists per game, blocks per game, or not blocks per game, but rebounds per game. He was leading the Bucks in all 3 of those averages before Game 6.
I mean, ultimately, Giannis ended up winning Finals MVP, and you can't really
you can't discredit any of them.
No, I don't think any of them would have been the wrong decision. But when a guy drops 50 points, you're not denying him Finals MVP. If somebody else had won Finals MVP, an arena that was going crazy from celebration would have started booing.
and the big one big takeaway when he hit that 50, memory serves me correct, he hit like 17 or 19 free throws, and that was one of his biggest flaws is he can't shoot free throws, but he
that is true.
And he scored in the paint. He did everything, played defense. He was everywhere, and I don't even think he got like 2 minutes of rest in that game.
Something like that.
How much time did Giannis spend on the floor in Game 6?
Man, he probably was out there like shit. Probably literally probably he missed only 2 minutes. Probably, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it sounds about right to me.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me as well. Man, if we could have gotten Bucks Warriors in the finals this year, that would have been fascinating.
And Chris Middleton played, then we're having that different discussion because we are talking about the Bucks versus the Warriors.
Yes. Trust me, I was excited about Warriors Celtics. Ever since I thought I was going to get that series in 2018, I've been asking for it.
I wanted Heat Mavericks round 3.
Yes, you have been saying that, but
I still want it. Give me Luka. Give me Butler.
I'm saying Luka.
Fireworks.
That would be an interesting matchup. I'll give you that one. But unfortunately, I felt like Warriors Celtics this season didn't live up to the hype.
Nah, it flamed out. It flamed out. By game 3, we started to see, oh, nah, Celtics in over their head. Even though the Celtics stole that first game, it went all downhill from there. And once the
The
Warriors was able to
Warriors just
regroup, they just started taking them apart.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation up to that point was, is Steph able to carry a team? Can he win Finals MVP? Like,
and the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah. So, and then the subsequent question was, well, if he wins Finals MVP, does it put him in top 10 all time? Does it put him...
There's so much talent in the top 10 all time that I know it's like the whole question is like, what more does he have to prove? Well, I still don't put him in there.
Is he better shooter than anybody in the top 10?
Oh,
That's just
easily.
Okay.
Easily, he's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. But when Ray Allen was the greatest three-point shooter of all time, did any of you did either of you have him in your top 10 all time?
No, because Ray Allen was a spot-up shooter. He wasn't an actual, like, Steph could get his own shots. He dribbles and he'll control the ball. Ray Allen just be in the corner. He's a spot-up guy. So those are two different type of arguments. Yeah.
Exactly. But the other thing, too, is, like, you got to think about the impact overall on the game. Like, you know, Ray Allen had one of the greatest three-point shots of all time when Game 6, 2013 NBA Finals. But
he basically saved LeBron's legacy with that.
Oh,
absolutely.
That's a fair take, actually. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
But overall, like, Steph's had a bigger impact than Ray Allen. Like,
absolutely.
You see kids nowadays, like, they're trying shots from half court. And we actually got a comment, oh, you'll know this guy, Chris.
Oh, boy. Dave.
Look who it is.
Peyton Manning is the best three-point shooter of all time, no debate.
Totally
David
agree.
Boss.
Oh, we love you, Dave.
Totally agree.
Yes.
I completely agree.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. But
no. We do know. I was going to say, sorry to interrupt you, but we do got some. If we want to talk about greatest of all time, and it's a cheap transition, but Peyton Mahomes.
That's my favorite quarterback.
Right. Peyton Mahomes. Hey, sound like he is, but what do you guys think about this AFC? I know we talked about the NFC a couple of weeks ago, and now this is the hardest conversation that we was going to have, and unfortunately,
I knew this one was going to last. I knew this one was going to. I knew this one was going to last a while.
Yeah. I'm not ready for this talk.
Let's do can we do the AFC? Can we end it off with the AFC North? Because I know all three of us have words about the AFC North.
I feel like
that's got to be our finishing point.
Man, this is going to be a tough talk.
Let's start with the AFC South, since that is the weakest division.
I actually have Indianapolis winning that division.
I have Indy winning it as well. I think Matt Ryan has a nice bounce back.
I do too.
Yeah. Actually, though, the reason I have Indianapolis winning that division is because Tennessee got weaker. Like, okay.
That's true.
Like, I know when you're a wide receiver on the Titans, you're basically like a Christmas tree ornament.
Yeah.
What, you're just left hanging there?
Exactly.
That team that's caught up with the Titans, because I would be surprised if the Titans finish third in the South, because I think the Watch out for the Jaguars. I think that they are about to make a step in the right direction going forward.
I actually also have the Jaguars finishing second.
I have Tennessee. As of right now, I have Tennessee finishing second. I don't think I know last year was a little bit chaotic for the Jaguars, and so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But with them bringing in Doug Peterson, I don't want to say first year head coach, but it's his first year in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I want to see what that offense looks like. So, not quite
they got
ready.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm just not quite ready to put them ahead of Tennessee.
I mean, it's completely understandable, but I think with Travis Etienne finally coming back to establish a run game for the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, they added a nice receiver Christian Kirk in the offseason. And don't forget about that defense. Hey, I'm a big Josh Allen guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which Josh Allen?
The one who sacked Josh Allen. and picked off Josh Allen. He picked off Josh Allen, too.
He still did. He really did. And they had the number 1 pick, and they had took that kid from Atlanta. I mean, from Georgia. So,
Taiwan Walker.
Oh, my God. He was giving us, when we played against him, he was killing our tackle. And I watched him, I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell? He played like he a 4-year veteran. But that kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. I can believe it. That's another one of the reasons why I put Jacksonville ahead of Tennessee is because I think Jacksonville's defense, especially their run defense, is going to be dangerous this year.
Very.
I'm just glad we don't freaking play them.
Yeah. But we all agree Houston is
Houston's finishing down.
Yeah, Houston is finishing last.
Right.
I actually have them getting a 3rd overall pick, just behind. I believe it was Atlanta. I gave Atlanta the 1st overall, and then 2nd overall. I want to say I gave to the Commanders? Question mark. Was that the Commanders or the Seahawks? One of those two. Both teams are garbage, anyways.
My guess would be the Seahawks. But
yeah. Although I did have Carson Wentz getting injured the second he stepped on a FedEx field during their home opener,
which is
against Jacksonville.
Yes, which is the same team that eliminated him from the playoffs last year when he was with the Colts.
He's not getting his revenge game. His leg is getting revenge on him for joining the Commanders.
I mean, he does have to play both Indianapolis and Philadelphia this season.
Well, if he's healthy. I'll just say that.
True. That is true.
Carson Wentz's biggest, downside to his level of play is he is one of the most injury-prone quarterbacks I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, he definitely stays.
It seems like every other week they have to bring in the backup for him.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Carson Wentz has to go on the road to see Indianapolis, and of course he has to play in Philadelphia because the Commanders and Eagles are division rivals.
Yep.
So
I could never imagine what it's like being a quarterback, having to face your former team twice a year because you made the decision to join another team in the division. And when you walk into, is it still Lincoln Financial Field? Okay, so. When you walk into Lincoln Financial Field, people are going to boo you.
They be Santa Claus.
Okay, yeah, they did assault Santa Claus.
And they cheer when Michael Irvin almost had a career-ending injury, so I mean that's good.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, the city of brotherly love.
Well, let's say that again. Brotherly love, in quotation marks.
Brotherly love?
How do you guys feel about that?
Love?
All right, AFC.
Oh, oh.
New York is going to be improved,
Mm-hmm.
but
All four teams.
I still have them finishing in last place, but they'll be an improved team.
Mm-hmm.
My pick to win the AFC East is going to shock both of you.
You have Miami, don't you?
Yes, I have the Dolphins only because if what Tyreek Hill is saying about Tua is true, then we could see some danger.
Yeah, there has been a love affair down in Miami. Like, that's all they talk about is Tua. He's so good, and yeah, we'll see.
My phone just fell over. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you were upside down for a minute. That was fun.
Yeah, my phone decided, you know what? I'm gonna fall. Take my whole thing with it.
I guess that's your phone's favorite season is fall.
Anyway.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins first. I have the Patriots second. I think Mac Jones and Bill Belichick are going to continue their good fortune from last season. Even with, us not knowing who the offensive coordinator is, even with do they even have any receivers?
They traded for Devontae Parker.
Oh, I forgot he exists.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, the team many are predicting to go to the Super Bowl, finishing third in the division.
Honestly, I have the Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills all finishing with pretty much the same record. The Dolphins just get one more win. The only reason I have the Bills finishing third is because I think the Patriots continue to just destroy the Bills.
I mean,
it seems like every time the Patriots and Bills play, the Patriots win.
Well, the Bills destroyed them in New England last season.
Yeah,
I did see that.
Yeah, I think that reign is over with, especially with this whole coordinator debacle that they got going on. It just feels like it's going to be a real.
Yeah. All right, I'll switch it up. I'll put the Bills at second and then the Patriots at third.
Dude, you're crazy. Buffalo's winning this division.
I think that Tua with Tyreek Hill has potential to be one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos that isn't homegrown like, Burrow and the other guy, whatever his name is.
Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, yeah.
That's a big stretch right there, but
yeah,
it's a big stretch, but at the same time, the Bills just haven't proven themselves as truly elite.
Really?
What?
Wow. They only lost in 12 seconds to the team.
Yeah.
We had a whole different discussion had they won that. No,
dude.
Oh yeah, easily.
Dude, what the heck are you drinking over there?
I forgot to get a drink before this thing.
Are you sure? Because I think, sir, are you drinking up? Sir, I have not been drinking, officer.
Hold tight, buddy.
But
Buffalo, look.
I'm not officer drinking.
Hey, hold tight. Anytime you go into jail, the cop will say, "Hold tight, buddy." Josh Allen is going to, if they don't get to the AFC Championship, they are going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But I think Josh Allen, I think they have a sting from last season that hurt or lose. You would have thought they was going to win that game, right? And then
I had them winning that game.
Oh my God! So they got redemption on their mind.
Oh yeah,
I agree there. I just think that I don't know how to feel, especially because their defense. I'm sorry, but Von Miller is not an improvement at linebacker.
He helped the Rams though. He definitely helped the Rams win. So I mean, I feel you. He's not the old Von Miller, but he's going to the situational snaps. He's going to get you those key sacks that you're looking for.
That is true.
If he can stay healthy, that is.
If he can stay healthy, right?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
It's just hard to play in Buffalo in January, and you better believe that the Super Bowl is going to run through them. Any team that's trying to come out the AFC, they're going to have to go to Buffalo.
Oh, I do have Buffalo going deep into the playoffs.
The fact that you don't have them winning the division, though, like
Call me crazy, call me whatever you want. I think Tua and Tyreek are gonna do some damage.
Hey Josh, what's that old saying that Chris Berman say about the Bills?
nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Oh no. That's facts, man. Yeah.
So when do I jump through a table?
So, but no, on all seriousness, in my lineup, I got the Bills going first. I got Miami second. I got the Jets coming in third, and then I do have New England, unfortunately, coming in fourth in that division.
Wow.
And Miami's going to get a wild card.
Oh, so if you have Miami getting a wild card,
Actually, nah. You know what? Nope. I'm not about to get backed into a wall. I'm gonna hold tight for that. Let's keep going. Yeah, because I just realized, like, damn, we need to talk about the AFC North or the West.
I have Miami as the fourth seed in the playoffs.
you knew I was going to confront you about that, Jay. You knew that.
I'm gonna hold tight on that one.
And of course, we got the AFC West. Oh boy.
Ay. I was kind of hoping we would save AFC West for last.
But obviously, since we're all Browns fans, we got to talk about our AFC North last. Save the best division for last.
Best division?
All four teams. I mean, all four teams in the AFC North could have potential to make three out of the four teams. Sorry, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Same thing applies for the West. Same thing applies for AFC West.
Yeah, except with Pittsburgh, the Steelers haven't had a losing season since 2003. And Mike Tomlin.
Yes, but I think that it's their time to have a losing season. Especially
to have a rookie start.
We don't know who their starting quarterback is. It could be Mitch Trubisky. It could be Kenny Pickett. And I don't think either of them are good quarterbacks.
Kenny Pickett can be good, but he needs time and repetition. So, yeah. It's a tough task for him.
All right, so the AFC West. So I have winning the AFC West. I have it being screw it. The San Diego Chargers.
They should still be in San Diego if it wasn't for
Spanos.
Spanos.
Dean Spanos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Los Angeles Chargers. I could agree with you on that one. I think they're going to take that division.
All right, what's your take, Josh?
I got the Raiders winning that division.
Oh, whoa.
Really? Whoa.
Hold up. Hold up.
I'm going to need some explanation.
Yeah, I need a lot of explanations on this one.
Derek Carr, he's a very good quarterback.
Absolutely.
I think he could break through and become an elite quarterback this season.
Top 10.
With Devontae, with Devontae Adams, certainly he could become elite.
He's top 10. He's a top 10 quarterback now.
He's got Devontae Adams. He's got Hunter Renfrow. He's got Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Josh Jacobs. On defense, you got Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. That sounds like a formidable team to me.
And Josh McDaniels is the play caller now. So That right there is going to enhance that offense.
Bingo. I don't think it's that crazy of a take at all to have the Raiders finishing first in the division.
It's not a crazy tape, but it's just saying like, damn, okay. So and I want you to finish your whole list out now because I'm just curious to see who's going to finish last.
Dude, you know who I have finishing last.
I hope not, but
My
oh boy.
homeboy.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and finish your pieces out, man.
So I have the Raiders 1, I have the Chargers 2, and then Broncos coming in third.
Damn, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. I just feel like with Denver, I need to see. Russell Wilson is a very good quarterback. I'll give him that.
Top 10.
Yeah, top 10, sure. But Nathaniel Hackett, first-year head coach, bringing in a top 10 quarterback.
Right.
I like Cortland Sutton. I like Jerry Jeudy, but I'm not 100% sold on their offense as a whole. Whereas with the Chargers, I'm a little bit more confident in their offense. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. And then on defense, you bring in J.C. Jackson. You bring in Khalil Mack. Joey Bosa's already there. So I like what the Chargers did, but I can't shake that image of Brandon Staley getting the yips in that final game of the season when the Raiders were clearly trying to just let the clock run out, have the game end in a tie, and Brandon Staley goes, timeout. Like,
yeah, LA, you're the reason Pittsburgh made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, there is.
You missed the playoffs and were replaced by a geriatric Ben Roethlisberger.
Man,
idiots.
I picked the Chargers. I had picked them to go to the playoffs last year, and that was the biggest downer that they put about Justin Herbert. Was like, well, he never been to the playoffs. And I'm like, okay, fine, gonna go, and then that happens. I'm like, damn, I gotta go a whole another year. But yeah, that was a real boneheaded call by coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't put the Chargers first, because I need to see if Brandon Staley has learned from that and show me like.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the Raiders, again, I know they brought in Josh McDaniels to be their head coach, so that's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But I feel like their offense is still a little more established because Derek Carr's been with the Raiders for a while. He has chemistry with Hunter Renfrow. He already has the chemistry with Darren Waller. He has chemistry with Josh Jacobs. I feel like it's going to be fairly easy to plug in arguably the best wide receiver in the game with Devontae.
How about you, Seaboss? How about you?
Oh, you want to? All right. So I have the Chargers in first. Obviously, I have them winning the division. I have the Broncos in second. I think Russell Wilson with that Broncos offense is gonna shock a lot of people and come out and play like he did back in like 2013 and 2014.
I agree.
And then in third, but a close third, I have the Raiders. And in fourth, of course, without Tyreek Hill, Mahomes suffers. Chiefs missed the playoffs for the first time with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you except for the last two, which is I have the Chargers winning that division. I got the Broncos getting a wild card, also coming in second place. I actually got the Chiefs coming in third and the Raiders coming in fourth, but their records are going to be so close, it'll probably separate come the last couple of weeks of the season. But I got the Chiefs at third.
Yeah, for me with Kansas City, I just think without Tyreek, they don't have a definitive number one wide receiver. Like
And Juju
MVS,
Smith-Schuster is not a good replacement.
no. Martez Valdez Scantling, however you say his first name, he's not like he had the back-to-back MVP with Aaron Rodgers, and I didn't see him producing on a weekly basis. So why should I be confident that he's going to produce with Kansas City? Sure, Eric Bieniemy is creative with his offense. I'll give him that, but still.
Kelsey.
And I also Martez Valdez Scantley doesn't have to compete with Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard for reps anymore. So that could kind of break him away.
They still got Travis Kelsey. So,
that is true.
Yeah,
But here's the problem, though. Without Tyreek, teams are going to start giving Travis Kelsey more attention.
And they could do that if they want to. And Mahomes is going to Mahomes them. So I would be cautious. I would caution them not to. It feels like that's the right move to do, given that they only have Kelsey. But they could try Mahomes if they want to.
I don't doubt Patrick Mahomes, but they're good. I think what they're going to do offensively is they're going to do it more wide receiver by committee and less, have a definitive number one. But will that could possibly hurt them? It might not. Maybe it's better for them. I just have a lot of questions about Kansas City going into this season, which is a big reason why I have them finishing last.
Now, how about the AFC North? Because now
I was dreading this moment. I was dreading this moment. But here it comes. All right. So in first place, I have the safe pick. I went the safe pick on this one. I went with the Baltimore Ravens. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to have a bounce back year, and he's going to show everyone why he won MVP in 2019.
Okay.
In second place, I have another safe pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a very safe pick. They just made the Super Bowl. I do think that they have a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but they do still make the playoffs. They get a wild card spot. In third place, I have the Browns. I think that even with Jacoby Brissett as our quarterback, he should hold down the fort somewhat nicely. And we discussed this last week, Jason. We went game by game trying to figure out what Jacoby Brissett could do, what he couldn't do. I think he holds down the fort quite nicely before Deshaun Watson gets back. And then once Deshaun Watson gets back, then the real fireworks start. And, well, Browns also make a wild card spot.
Oh, with that.
And in dead last in the AFC North, I, of course, have the Pittsburgh Steelers because their quarterback situation is somehow worse than ours.
For the first time ever.
At least we have a definitive week one starter.
You ain't never lied.
That's fair. I'll give you that. But I have the only difference I have from you is I have Cincinnati winning the division and Baltimore finishing in second. I have the Browns finishing third, Steelers finishing in fourth, but they still get to but they're not going to have a losing season regardless. Pittsburgh will get to their 9 wins.
I have Pittsburgh having 6 wins, maybe.
Tomlin always figures it out.
Even with no quarterback.
And I understand both of y'all's picks, and I get it. I actually got Baltimore winning the AFC North. I actually got the Browns coming too, and the reason why is we're gonna have again. We're gonna like we discussed, Seaboss. It's gonna be a grind within the first 10 weeks where we may be 4-6. Okay, but once we get Deshaun Watson back, it's possible that we go on a nice little run in the season in the wild card, and a lot of teams are going to be targeting the Bengals this year. Whereas last year they went under the radar. This year everybody's circling their calendar when they're going to play the Bengals. So I see the Bengals
Oh,
coming in third, and I got the Steelers coming in fourth. But the Bengals is the new what you call that first year um I like you so much, but that's worn off now. It's like now we're aware of the Bengals and we're gunning for y'all. So a lot of teams are gonna have
yeah.
to approach.
That's fair. Well, we've reached the hour mark here, so I think it's time to wrap things up here.
I mean, we still got to name. I was gonna say we still got to do our wild card predictions. AFC or who's going to the AFC Championship? Who will represent the AFC? And in my scenario, face the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. You do have the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I forgot about that. Do we want to say that? Do we want to say that?
Yeah.
For this week.
We can save that for
The
next
answer
week.
will shock you.
And
Oh, boy.
with that, we can also talk about the Ohio State season getting underway because they host Notre Dame to kick off their season in a high-profile matchup.
Yes.
OHIO.
We got a lot to discuss, man.
But I'm Unger to the Max. That's Seaboss.
I'm Seaboss.
That's the official host of Manalytics as usual. I'm going to just say, or as he calls himself now, the maniacal noob.
Manalytical noob.
And I love your passion though.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where I got I knew it said analytical. For some reason, it just came out as maniacal.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Thank y'all for tuning
Josh,
in.
I just noticed that your hashtag doesn't say undisputed max. It says undisputed mox. For some reason, I saw it said undisputed max, and I'm like, oh boy, he's framing himself as champion now.
No. All right.
Thank y'all for tuning in, though, man.